to me as a attempt for extortion. Clearly, you don't owe me any additional services. Clearly, I don't owe you any additional money.
So how is that? How is that extortion? I'm not clear on that.
Well, it's if you have something of value, that if I pay you to plant an apple tree for me, $100, and you plant the apple tree, and I pay you $100 and get a receipt, and there's no question. And then when the apple come, you grab an apple and say, "Look here, you can have this apple, but you know, I don't do the apple tree stuff no more, and so for me to give you your apple, you're gonna have to pay me."
Mm-hmm.
That's extortion by any name. I've been, Mr. Kamel, I've been out here a lot of years. I am not stupid. I'm very sophisticated in these kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
And this does not pass the scratch and sniff test behind $10. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been something like, "Hey, we got something here. How do you want us to send it? UPS, whatever. Do you want us to put it on your credit card? However you want. Well, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But to hook that on to a profit-making venture for you,
mm-hmm.
At the expense, no.
Mm-hmm.
It's illegal.
Oh.
It's wrong. It's immoral. It's illegal.
Okay.
And because it's nothing I can do about it being immoral. I'm not concerned about your morals or your ethics. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's deceptive. It's illegal. It's fraudulent. It's extortion. It's racketeering.
Okay.
And all those things and more.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't get my mail back, that you are supposed not, if I pay for whatever it takes to get it down to me or whatever,
mm-hmm.
I don't know who made the mistake.
Mm-hmm.
I want my property back. I don't need anything from you. Don't want anything from you other than what that was sent in the face of getting it to me, and you're holding it up. You're putting a toll bridge there saying, "Hey, this is my toll bridge. I'm Al Capone. You pay me, or else
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to get it."
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, then she hangs up on me.
Okay, can I comment? Make a few.
Sure, I'll shut up and listen. Like you shut up and listen, I'll shut up and listen. Okay.
Okay. Well, first of all, I think we have a basic disagreement about whether or not this is a crime, and we can go back and forth about it. I certainly don't think this falls into extortion. Excuse me. Any business that you deal with where you require the business to perform an additional service, they can charge you for that service. And I think Ms. Jackson was simply making you aware that we have fees. And if that's a problem, your option is just not to pay the fee. Now, with regard to what you're saying about the apple tree and the apple tree bearing fruit and then us, seizing the apples, that's not what happened here. And I actually called Mrs. Jackson back after she told me about your call to tell her to make a clarification, but apparently things got worse at that point. The letter that was generated from the sheriff's office or from the constable's office was not a letter directed to you, and it was with our company name on it, and it was directed to me. It wasn't a letter saying, "Hey, this is for Nathaniel Hopkins. This letter is to Nathaniel Hopkins. Please deliver this letter to Nathaniel Hopkins." That's not what the letter is about. So I don't believe I'm obligated to give you a letter that was written to policeabuse.com that was not written to you. Now, if you think that I'm required to do that, then, we just have a difference of opinion. And in terms of how you were informed about the service, pretty much everything that Ms. Jackson said to you is on our services page. We explain what our prices are for the various things that we do. And I think you might have been outraged a bit about the $25 fee, so I do want to take a little time to explain what that fee is about.
I don't have a clue, but you talk about a $25 fee. This is the first time I've heard anything about.
So you didn't even know what the amount was. You just knew that she was asking for something, and you didn't like that.
No, that's not what I said. I said this is my first time hearing about the $25.
Okay, well that's what it is. There's a $25 fee if you want us to forward copies of any materials, whether it's a letter to me, you, or anyone else that comes into policeabuse.com, and there's a reason for it. Because we have, and I think you also may have misunderstood what she said about complaints. We don't have 1,000 complaints against us. We process over 1,000 complaints every 30 to 40 days. So with that volume of people, if everyone wanted a copy of their complaint or the email exchange or the letter exchange, it'd be overwhelming. We couldn't do it. So we price it at a high price So if someone really wants it, they can pay for it. We'll stop what we're doing, but that's not our primary service. Our primary service is simply to report your complaint to the police department and make sure that they received a copy. And in your case, because you actually called in and you emailed, you were very concerned about it. I personally handled your case. I sent it to the sheriff, and I can tell you why he sent me a response back. And this also goes into your claim that we owe you that letter. That letter belongs to you. We have another complaint against Harris County Constable's Office, and that's why they're concerned. The other complaint that we have is far more serious than yours. In fact, the person in the case was killed. A young boy was actually choked and wrongfully injected with chemicals, which killed him. And he's suing the Harris County. In fact, we're featuring it on our case. So the sheriff Garcia is in a panic right now about that. So when he got this new complaint about your case, he was rushing to get something in the mail to me to tell me, it's okay, or whatever he's going to say. I haven't even read the letter yet. So first point I want to make is that the letter is ours. It's not directed to you, and I don't believe required to give it to you.
It has nothing to do with my complaint against them to them.
Well, actually, let me not jump.
Obviously, if it's just personal mail between you and the sheriff department, FBI, whoever, Obama, whoever. Mm-hmm. I have no interest in that. Mm-hmm. If it has nothing to do with me, mm-hmm. I have no interest in that whatsoever.
Okay.
And so if that's what you're representing, the way she presented it to me, it had something to do with me, and it could have been material to my complaint against them, and that's where it was left.
Okay. Well, I think that's just
nothing to do with me.
Yeah. Actually, let me do this, but before I speak too soon, Mr. Hopkins, I haven't read the letter. I simply opened the envelope and didn't go through it, but it's totally addressed to me, and I believe in my initial review, it was something that I felt was more about policeabuse.com, but I'll take a look at it. If I think that after reading it, you're entitled to have it or you need a copy, we'll be happy to make a copy available to you, but it will be at the fee that we suggested, $25. So with that said, I don't think we have any further problem. Your other money was refunded to you, though we did complete that service of filing your complaint. We refunded the money anyway. And I just want to finish the point I was making previously about the complaints. We don't have 1,000 complaints against us. We have 1,000 complaints that we file every 30 to 40 days. And in terms of our record, we've had 6 with the Better Business Bureau, and we've been in business for 25 years. So given the volume of complaints we have each year, it's less than a 0.0% of complaints. So we're not worried about that. And I got your voice message, which was rather threatening, and you were going to go basically ruin our business. You said we would be shut down within 10 days. I think that's...
No, I didn't say that. I said it would take 10 days to get the process moving well.
Okay, well...
I have enough. That would be a stupid... You're in Florida, I assume. Mm-hmm. I'm in Texas, Mm-hmm. And for me to say I'm going to be able to shut a business down in 10 days, that's the rantings of a fool.
Gotcha.
And that I say it's something to the effect. The windows of the world are closed right now. Mm-hmm. They open at 8:30 tomorrow morning. Mm-hmm. I will be on the case. Mm-hmm. I say a matter like this might take about 10 days to get everything moving right. Mm-hmm. But it will be done. And the word I use, I promise you that. Mm-hmm. That's what I said.
Was that a threat?
No, that was a promise. I used the word. I said that's a promise.
Okay, so is that what you're doing?
I've already started.
Okay, so got you. So even though
I've been on the case since 8 o'clock. I've been on the case since 8 o'clock this morning. I was doing work last night on it, but I was been on the case since 8 o'clock this morning.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
If I explain to you what our services are, and I explain to you that the letter was not for you, you're telling me you did that anyway.
No, I said when I'm talking to you now. I have been working on this since the windows of the world opened this morning.
Okay.
So I'm talking to you. A lot of things that you're telling me now, I was operating on what she told me then. Mm-hmm. And I promised on my message that I left yesterday, I promised mm-hmm. That I would be on the case today.
Okay.
First thing this morning.
Okay. Well, let me just say 2 things to you, Mr. Hopkins. I appreciate that. You've obviously been to our website. You know what we do. We've already refunded your money, so I don't think we have any.
And also on my email on that refund, I specifically night. It must have been around 6:30, 7 o'clock p.m. I specifically advised or instructed or demanded that you not contact any financial institution using my name for any purpose whatsoever. And if you listen to that tape that you said that you listened to or whatever of the conversation with Ms. Jackson and myself, I told you could take that $10 and buy a cup of coffee. Okay?
She told me that. So my question is, what are you? So you're still pursuing your complaints? Is that right?
Until I get some kind of well, I have already gotten 3 case numbers. Okay.
I don't really care about that. I'm asking you, are you pursuing your complaint? Are you pursuing your complaint? That's what I'm asking you.
And my answer, until I get a clarification as to whether or not that the mail is material to the complaint that was filed that you are holding, I will not withdraw the complaints that I have already made, and I will continue as pursuant to the conversation I had with Ms. Jackson yesterday evening that she hung up on me twice. I will, absolutely. You can take it any way you want to take it. I will absolutely keep my word.
Okay, I got it. I get it. I totally get it. And so let me ask you just one last question. Your complaint was that you escorted someone to a police facility and they arrested you, correct?
My complaint is whatever the complaint was that you sent me.
Do you remember?
In detail. We're not talking kindergarten here.
Do you remember the complaint you filed?
And I can,
Do you remember the complaint you filed?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that part.
I said, do you remember the complaint that you filed?
Yeah, I have it laying here.
Okay, so you know what the complaint is. The complaint was that you were arrested.
It's here in front of me.
The complaint was that you were arrested when you escorted a friend to the sheriff's office or a client.
The complaint is what you sent in.
Yeah, exactly.
I had to send in an addendum because you had some facts wrong.
So, but we did. But that was the complaint.
I did have to send an addendum in to correct factual errors that you made.
Okay, so we fixed the complaint for you. I remember that. And I'm telling you what was in the complaint is what I just said. Why are you avoiding acknowledging that?
I acknowledge I complained.
You're not acknowledging the complaint, which is that you were arrested when you went with a friend to report a complaint. Is that correct or that's not correct?
That's nonsense. That's nonsense for me to discuss. I got the complaint in front of me.
You did get arrested.
There in your office.
You did get arrested.
Is that Jack and Jill went up the hill. Now, you asked me, did Jack go up the hill?
Yes, he did.
Did Jill go with her?
Yes, because that was what's in your complaint.
Why the hell we wasting time on that? Both of us know Jack and Jill went up the damn hill. So
why are you refusing to acknowledge that? You were arrested.
I'm not a child. You don't lead me down no primrose path. Now, did you do this or did you do that? You don't know who you're talking to.
Okay, got it. All right, so let me just close out this because I think we've talked enough. I understand you're going to still pursue the complaint. I understand that we did refund your money, and I understand that you still have a grievance, or at least you feel you have a grievance against us. So until
I receive my mail or confirmation from your office that it's not the mail that you received is strictly yours and in no way relevant to or material to my complaint. Until I get that, sir, you will be hearing from me on a repeated basis.
I don't want to hear from you again, and I don't think it's necessary for you to contact us.
I'm gonna tell you how to stop it.
Tell me.
Let me let you in on a little secret on how to stop it.
Let me in, baby.
Send me the stuff she told me she had. And when I get that, I'm through with it.
Got you.
Until I get that, the only way I'll be through with, I will be through with the state of Texas before I be through with policeabuse.com.
Okay, I just want to say one thing, Mr. Hopkins, if you give me a moment to just talk. I do recall the substance of your complaint, and this is what I didn't have a chance to tell you. I review complaints regularly. I do expert witness work, and that's pretty much what I do on cases when someone asks for a preliminary or a major investigation. So I reviewed your case, and though you didn't pay for a expert review, I'll tell you what my opinions were at the time, and those are still my opinions. I believe you made a false complaint. That's what I think happened. Because based on what you described, your behavior then was about as outrageous as it is right now. You're kind of like an unreasonable person, and you start fights wherever you go, and then after you start a fight, you start to behave rather foolishly. So I don't really care what you're going to do at this point. And if you want to make your complaint with the governor, the mayor, we don't owe you anything. Your money was refunded.